Wait, this is literally about to be a budget meeting.
Shh. It's not a budget meeting.
It's literally all board members.
L'chaim.
Yeah.
L'chaim Levracha. It's in my pink cup.
Are you
Baruch
sure?
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech
Alright,
haolam
good.
v'aretz.
But I'm training Nate to take over.
It's all set.
Remember, this is my last semester.
Okay,
This is my last semester.
so it's Chayel, and you have no idea what that is, and that's fantastic. I have some notes so I don't forget all the things I wanted to say. Got little notes here. Rabbis always take notes.
I know.
We don't always use them,
I know.
but we always take them.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, so there we go. So you may not know what a Farbrengen is, and that's okay. I sent a Wikipedia article, which I'm sure you didn't read. Really, just the first paragraph.
I tried to read it.
Only the first paragraph was relevant. Everything else was a bunch of
I just
garbage.
looked it up.
Just don't worry about it. It was a good thing. The Wikipedia doohickey. I was impressed with the Wikipedia article, actually, at least the first paragraph, because the rest was garbage. But yeah, so it's good. It's good to do. A Farbrengen is a Hasidic gathering, and there is often song, words of inspiration, stories, etc. So we'll have all of that. And I wanted to start with the Hayom Yom, which is it's a book of daily aphorisms, which some of it is inspirational, some of it is just on Jewish custom, blah, blah, blah. And lo and behold, I actually forgot to put it in front of me. So now I'm going to have to get up and go get it. So I'm going to do that right now. 1 second.
It's like
Ta-da!
yeah.
I'm also...
There you go.
Oh, wait. I have a cool fancy one.
Oh, yeah, go.
Where's the fancy Hayom
It's not
Yom?
open yet.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, it's
What?
not open. I'm like, I just want.
I'm
This
sorry,
Not
is,
that I can see.
I was gonna say this is a belt. I was like, I'm
Oh,
about
it's
to
not
show this.
Yeah, the fancy one.
Okay. Oh shoot.
You definitely did not put that cover.
What?
Don't you just pull it
No.
up?
I don't know. Here, tell me what. Oh my god, we wish you'd seen Shmuley.
Fancy
Even that.
Hayom Yom. Sorry, guys. Wouldn't you know? Listen, rabbis are never prepared.
I babysat for them.
Don't worry. I'm not
Wanna
going
go
to
over the summer? You
Wow.
poor thing. That's right. I forgot you were here this whole summer.
Okay, whatever.
No, the whole summer.
I guess I don't need the fancy
What?
one. I'll have to get the regular one.
I saw Robert once over the summer.
It was here like July and August. But
I wanted the fancy one because it has a cool
Yeah, it was
translation
sad,
and
though.
everything. So I'm gonna have to translate on the fly
Yeah,
here.
we, like, took her out to dinner. We were
All
in
right.
this great place, and she's like,
So what is Chai Elul? This is what you're all wondering. What is the 18th
It was.
of Elul? The 18th of Elul. It's like this. I'll tell you. So there's a Hayom. This is the daily aphorism thing. All right. So it says like this for Chai Elul. Actually, I really also wanted to share yesterday, or not yesterday. So this was Mondays. It was very nice. I'm not going to share that. Never mind. Okay, so it is the day of the. There's quite a few things that happened. One is the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the passing of the Maharal in Prague, who was a very famous rabbi, and we'll just leave it at that. Just I want to mention that because someone's going to say, "Hey, you didn't mention the Maharal of Prague." Okay, so the other thing that it is, and most importantly for us, is it is the birthday of two very important people. In fact, possibly the most important people, the two most important people in all of Jewish history.
me.
I'm not you. Not barring like say Moses or Abraham or something like that. Modern Jewish history, we'll say, the early modern era. Is that a mid-modern era, whatever? That is the Baal Shem Tov, who founded the Hasidic movement. That's number one.
and the
This
Rebbe.
is also, no, not the Rebbe, but the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe who founded the Chabad movement specifically.
Yeah, the dude that we.
Not that Rebbe.
I thought
No.
was the original.
No, like we're talking like 200 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. More than 200 years ago, actually.
Thank you.
So it's the birthday of those two people. Okay. Also, it happens to be the day that the Baal Shem Tov, who was the founder of the Hasidic movement, the day that he revealed himself as a great tzaddik, and also the day that he began being taught by a very special teacher, Achia Shaloni, doesn't matter who it is, whatever, special guy. Okay. So these are the great events that this celebrates, mostly the birthdays of these two people. And a birthday is a very special thing. Okay, you wouldn't believe this, but it used to be that in Jewish times, a birthday was kind of looked a little bit, they didn't like birthdays. Why? What's the only real example of a birthday in the Torah? Does anybody know? Nobody? None of your Bible scholarship coming out of here right here? No. The only example ever really given in the Torah of a birthday is that of Pharaoh. It says in the beginning of was it Parshas Miketz maybe? Yom Haledes Parei. Or Yom Haledes Parei. It was the birthday of Pharaoh. So if you ever celebrate a birthday, you might find some old crotchety Jew yell at you, Yom Haledes Parei. But the truth is that a birthday is a very significant event. And yes, when it's the birthday of Pharaoh, then that sucks. We don't really care about his birthday. When it's the birthday of somebody special, of somebody holy, or of and really anybody who's not, that kind of guy or gal, then it's great. So it's sort of a neutral. It's a neutral thing. Could be good, could be bad. So when we're talking about someone so holy, it's very special. So I want to just start over here with the Hayom Yom, this book of daily aphorisms for today. It mentions that it's the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe, and he says that the teichen, the subject, the content of the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, which means master of the good name, in case you were curious. There was a teaching that he taught on Shabbos, Parshas Kisavoy, which was actually this week in the Torah reading, on Chai Elul, which was today. This was in Tafresh Nun Beis, a long time ago. Don't worry about it. Trust me. Was that 1692? Was it Elul? Yeah, 1692. It was after Shabbos. After the Shabbos service. He says over there that there's a verse. It said the beginning of the Torah portion this week says when you come into the land. The word for land in Hebrew is eretz or aretz, and that is related to the word rotzon, will. So it was all about bringing the will of God into the world, right? That when you grasp the will, which is a gift from above, and you and it's an inheritance for every single Jew, then you need to yeshavta to dwell in it, right? You come into the land and you're going to dwell in it. What is that? So you're bringing it down. So you're bringing that will of God down into the world. And where is that? That is, he goes on over here, where it's basically wherever you go. It's not just in Israel. Okay, it's wherever you are. God has set up a plan. We don't really know what that is, but it's okay. And wherever you are, that's where you have to draw down godliness. That's where you have to make. There's a saying, "Machda Eretz Yisrael," make here the land of Israel. Where you are, bring down godliness, do good, do a mitzvah, help another person. That's going to bring down the godliness into the world. So that's what today is all about. It's about the Baal Shem Tov going and teaching every single person that you have to make where you are a godly place and make it draw down the will of God into your life and into your wherever, whatever you happen to be doing, wherever you happen to be. That's what it's all about. So that's that. So in addition to that, the month before Rosh Hashanah, right? And we all know what Rosh Hashanah is, right? What's Rosh Hashanah? Gabby, take it away. The Jewish New Year. Fantastic. Okay. The Jewish New Year. And what is that all about? What do you do on the Jewish New Year, Kayla? You do eat. That is correct. We eat a lot.
You celebrate?
Are you going home for Rosh Hashanah?
I might.
You might.
I might.
That's
Alright,
sad.
I'll figure that out.
That's
Wait,
sad.
when
It's
is it?
okay.
Is it Monday night,
But-
Tuesday night? Or
No, it's Sunday night, Monday, and Monday night, Tuesday.
But I might
Sunday
be going
to
to
Monday.
Africa because my sister.
Oh, for your sister. Oh, that would be nice of you.
Wait a minute.
She
Is
has
it like?
to get
Wait,
back.
wait.
Yeah,
Is that like
she's
2
like,
weeks
yeah.
from now?
No, it's
Or like?
week.
It's like a week from Sunday night,
I'm
man.
gonna be in Albany from Friday to Sunday, but like I'll be back.
You'll
here
be back.
for
Ooh,
Sunday
you'll
be
night,
in my
yeah.
L'chaim, l'chaim.
Well, not my hometown, but close to my hometown.
What do we do on Rosh Hashanah?
What do I think? Well, a lot of the time, I say Happy New Year
You say Happy New
to
Year.
my Jewish family and to my non-Jewish.
Why are you wishing them a Happy New Year?
Because I want peace
Are you
and,
supposed to
and
do
good
that?
health.
Oh, you want good health. You want peace. You want stuff for the new year, right?
Absolutely, I want good things for the New Year. Yes.
Who do you want this stuff from? Right, sorry. From whom do you want this stuff?
Oh, thank God.
God, that's right. You don't have to whisper. It's okay. It's kosher here. God, that's right. You want good stuff from God. Now, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
I'm Caitlin.
Caitlin, that's right. Caitlin, you don't have to give us any details.
I'm gonna warn you before you ask. I am not Jewish, but I do.
No,
Clearly, like if you couldn't tell by like all of my being,
it's
I am
okay.
not Jewish. But I did go to the Chabad house all the time in Cortland.
You went to the Chabad house at Cortland.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Rabbi Mendy, I hope you're listening to this. Mendy, we have one of your mushpaim over here.
Randall and Muhammadina.
Yes, Mendel and Muhammadina Hecht at Cortland, SUNY Cortland. Fantastic people. We'll give them a shout out. Hold on. No, they're not listening from what I see. It's okay. I'll tell
my
him. He'll
dad
get the
listening?
recording. No, your dad's not listening. Very few people are listening right now on Facebook. It's okay. It's okay. It was kind of last minute. It's supposed to be at 10. It was supposed to be yesterday, but whatever. Caitlin?
Yes.
Caitlin. I hope Rabbi Mendy taught you well. Or Nachamadina probably more likely.
Yeah.
Forgot my train of thought. You want this stuff from God, right? No, okay, be honest. I don't want details, please. If you were to think about how your year went, would you say that you did everything in the best possible way that you could have?
No.
No.
That
There was no thought there. That was like autopilot response, like heck no way. Okay.
No one ever does.
Right. So now here's the problem. I'm going to assume just for the moment that all of you probably have the same answer. I know I definitely have the same answer. So we're asking God for peace, health, pizza on earth, and a Gouda wheel towards Mary. And who are we? We've been screwing up the whole year long, and here we are coming to God. Hey, by the way, God, next year, listen, let me tell you my list of what I need. Right? It's like doesn't work.
Santa.
It's like that, right? Like Santa. Right? We're afraid we're gonna get a lump of coal for Rosh Hashanah. You know, blow the shofar and a big lump of coal is gonna come out. So, what do we need to do?
Better ourselves.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Show improvement.
I like that.
I would say show improvement.
Better ourselves, show improvement. There's a word for this in Hebrew. Does anyone know what it is?
I'm sure I know it. I don't know. I don't remember it. I'm sure you've said
I'm
it
pretty
before.
sure I've said it on Facebook during this time
On
of year.
Facebook.
Does
Probably
that-
not.
Does that not get
It's not Shana Tova.
okay? Then
Okay. Teshuvah.
Yep.
Teshuvah means literally to return, often translated as repentance, right? Sort of getting right before God.
Yeah.
So here's the cool thing, okay? The month before Rosh Hashanah is sort of this time of repentance, this time of Teshuvah. It says about the month of Elul, the month before Rosh Hashanah, there's a Teshuvah wind, there's a wind of repentance in the air, okay? Now, that's for the whole month. But does anybody know how many days there are between now and Rosh Hashanah?
Now on Rosh Hashanah?
A little more than 14.
A little less than 14, actually. Time.
It's Thursday,
The 29.
29.
Can I have the Dr.
I
Thunder?
think it's the 12th, right? This is like
10 days.
it was like
Close.
13.
Wait, what did you say? Today's the 18th of Elul. Chai Elul.
Oh, okay. No, never mind.
We're going by. Jewish
I was going by
calendar.
It doesn't matter if you go by the Jewish calendar or the non-Jewish calendars.
Well,
There's
like-
this many days from
I
now
thought
until
it-
Rosh
but you
Hashanah.
said it was less than.
If you include today.
I thought it was more.
Why? Don't include
Close.
12?
Very good.
them.
Kayla with the win. Grab a cupcake, Kayla. That's right. 12 days. How many months in a year?
12.
12. Fantastic.
I got a question right.
Every day represents a month of the year right now. Today was too late, guys. The first month of the year.
I'm sorry.
It's not a class. You don't have to raise
No,
your
I
hand.
have a random. I have a thought.
A thought. I
think
want to
I'm
hear your
wrong
thought,
here,
please.
But I'm pretty sure that you guys.
Did you say L'chaim on Dr. Thunder yet,
I did not have Dr.
or on Lemonade?
Did.
Okay, good. So now you can share your thought.
I'm pretty sure that you guys gave it away without even realizing it. I think there were 12 cupcakes on here.
That's amazing. No, actually, you're thinking like escape room
I'm
type
pretty sure.
Type thoughts.
There's no way there were 12.
How many
It's
did you
only
have?
we ate one.
I
ate
had
one.
one.
I have. Wait, how many did Kayla have one?
She didn't take
Did you have one?
We don't plan.
I'm
Dude,
just
I
saying.
didn't even have the book in front of me. I didn't plan the
I
cupcakes in advance.
I'm not
wants to
saying you
think
played
there
it.
were
I'm
12
just saying.
cupcakes, but
There was 11.
There were 11.
We'll just say because today's
No, I
over.
had
So
two, 'cause I had two cupcakes.
Oh, you
Okay.
had 2, so there was 12.
so tomorrow or now, because the Jew in Judaism the day starts at night, is now the second day of the month, and so on. So every day for the next 12 days, we are rectifying, doing teshuvah for the entire month. That's amazing. You could do teshuvah for a whole month. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm excited about that. And then you can go into Rosh Hashanah, and then you could say, "Oh, we need peace, we need health, we need whatever it is,
Go on a couple.
whatever." I'm sure we have a long list for God on Rosh Hashanah of what it is that we need. Probably not best to ask for it on Rosh Hashanah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Rosh Hashanah is like, that's when you're accepting God as King. We're going to talk more about that on Rosh Hashanah. Are you here for Rosh Hashanah?
I am.
You're
I'm staying
beautiful.
with that.
The gang's all here.
All right, this is great. So we're going to have a great Rosh Hashanah. We'll talk about that more on Rosh Hashanah. Right now,
I showed my family.
we're prepping. We're getting in the groove. We're high Eluling it. So it's like I said, it's the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe, and these two people were major disruptors in Jewish history, and sort of like, well, no, not like that. Never mind. I don't know who. Throughout history, you have people that make such an impact that literally change the course of history, right? People like Rosa Parks come to mind, and George Washington, who, by the way, the King of England himself said amazing things about George Washington after the war. Why? Because George Washington could have made himself king, basically. I mean, everyone was just in love with the guy after winning the war and everything, which in certain ways was really through no fault of his own, just really divine providence through the whole thing. He kind of made a lot of goof ups, but whatever. And what did he do after the presidency? He stepped down from power. Like, well, I forget exactly the words that King George III used, but it was something along the lines of he would be the most amazing man in history, or something. I forget the words, but it was pretty good. Right, so you have people like this. The Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe, at least in the Jewish world, were these people. Right, the Baal Shem Tov completely changed the entire power structure of the Jewish world. The way it used to work, especially in Europe, is you had like government-appointed rabbis of a town. And what was the rabbi's job? Aside from being the spiritual leader of the community, yada, 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 one of their jobs was to collect tax revenue for the powers that be. So how do you do that? So you had taxes on kosher meat. You had taxes on, there's just shul tax to have a synagogue, all these different things that were all collected by the synagogue. And by that, I mean the rabbi. And then that money was passed along. In comes the Baal Shem Tov. And he says, well, we're going to start. We like to start our prayers a little later. We like to have a different kind of kosher slaughtering, he used a different kind of knife and so on, different material. They were using iron mostly at the time. He said steel is a much better material. Of course, now everybody's using steel. This totally took the power and the money away from these rabbis. A new shul, a new kosher slaughterer, all sorts of these things. It was totally just turned the Jewish world upside down. Aside from the fact that they were crazy. I mean, not crazy like, not like, they did weird things. They have Farbrengens and some of the Hasidic groups, literally doing somersaults during their prayers. I mean, like, really, it was like going to I don't know if you've ever been to a Pentecostal church. Don't go. But if you have been to one, it's that intense emotional outbursts. This was unheard of. So really turned the Jewish world upside down. The Alter Rebbe, the founder of the Chabad movement, also took this Hasidic movement and said, you guys are all into this emotional connecting to God, which is great, by the way. That's how you connect to God, right? You love God, you fear God. Even the Torah tells you should connect to God on an emotional level. But how do you do it? Right? If God commands you love God, that's a verse in the Torah. We say it in Shema, right? Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. Then we say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchut Avad. Then what do we say after that? Sing it for us, Robert. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Repeat yourself.
Ahavta et Adonai Elohecha.
Oh, you want me? How did you want me to?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I was never taught that.
It's on the other side of the book, the English. What are you gonna do with you, Sarah? What does that mean? In Shema, the first line of Shema. I know you can do this. Ve'ahavta.
I don't think I can.
Kayla, we're gonna come to you. If she answers this and you four can't,
I don't know.
you don't know. Kayla, Kate. What's your name? Caitlin? Caitlin?
Yeah.
What?
With sight?
No,
No.
not with sight.
I have 0 idea.
I can look.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul. Is this ringing a bell?
No.
I mean,
I believe you, but I was never taught this. And
It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, I do it in a.
I don't hold it against you. I'm
glad.
I'm just lamenting over the state of Judaism in America in
Well, like-
2018.
Well, like my family does it in like different language most times. We do it in Ladino.
Ladino. This is Hebrew. Everyone reads Shema in Hebrew.
We do most of it in 15th century Spanish.
That crazy 15th century Spanish.
We're Sephardic.
Love the Lord. We're commanded in the Torah to love God. What the heck?
What if we don't want to?
How are you commanded to feel something? What is that all about? So this is a difficult problem in Judaism. How do we deal with this? So the way the Alter Rebbe, the founder of the Chabad movement, dealt with this. Chabad is an acronym, right? Chachma, Bina, and Dat. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and knowledge. So the way he said it was, how do you decide you love someone?
Feel it.
You just feel it. You just feel it. Nothing happens beforehand.
You get to know them first.
Oh, you get to know, not in the biblical sense. You get to know them. You get to know them first. That's right. You know them. That's great language that you used. I love that.
Just not the way they were explaining it.
Right? You know them. Why do you love somebody?
You mean logically?
No. How do you end up having a feeling of love for another person? Have you ever been in love, Sarah?
No.
That's good. That's a good answer. I'm happy to hear that answer as a rabbi.
Wow. I'm a little
Gabby,
now.
have you ever been in love?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Why were you in love with this person?
Because I'm stupid.
Because you're stupid. Already we're getting into an intellectual space.
Because they're stupid. There's nothing great about them.
Let's say there's this person that you found. This person that you found you're absolutely in love with.
Because they're great.
And then you find out that they
Stomped on your heart.
They don't love you back.
I don't know, they kicked a puppy. I don't know, something crazy. Would that change your opinion of them, your feeling for them?
Depends on what.
And they had no remorse. It was on
If
purpose.
it was a puppy, then yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's very hard.
If they did not act.
I mean, probably because I like
Can't
dogs,
do
but
that.
it takes a lot to get me to not love someone.
Yeah, because love
once
is
you
like a
love
strong
someone.
feeling. Yeah,
It is a strong feeling.
Like, I think I would still love
Like,
my.
What if you found out
I
they
kicked
were
a puppy. I don't
poisoning
love you.
your sister?
If it was my parent, I wouldn't have.
I mean, I think my sister would
don't
be
know.
doing the poisoning, but I guess like,
New information changes the way you feel about them, doesn't it?
Okay, yes. but-
Not if it's unconditional love.
like with family, you can't really like.
It
not
takes time
love
to like
them.
stop loving someone though. Like
It does.
I mean, I think you could be very angry with someone but still love them.
I think it
you're
depends
disappointed.
too on what type of love. Like, are you talking unconditional, or are you just
No.
You're talking like friendship.
Yeah, like
love,
loving a
I- yeah.
friend, loving your mom, and
like
loving a
family, like
significant
familial
other.
love. Like what type of what
Yeah.
type of love are you talking about? 'Cause
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Then
because it's like if it's
That's a good question.
unconditional, like
That's a good
family,
question.
it's
How?
like you
What
don't-
kind? Because there's different kinds of love,
It
right?
seems like you're talking about romantic love, but
I've never
there's
had
other.
I was using romantic
We're
love as an
talking about
example.
that.
I was using romantic love as an example because there's
Romantic
usually less
love.
strings attached.
True.
Yeah,
That's
but you
true.
see, like your family, you love like unconditionally. Like me and my
Yeah,
sister
yeah.
have like nothing in common, and we probably
Do
wouldn't be friends if we weren't related and didn't have to share a room for 14 years.
Try having a twin brother. 22 years going on strong.
It's
So you're kind of like forced to you know
to like them.
to like them.
Love
I
them.
I
You're
don't
not
think
forced
you're
to
gonna
like
no,
them.
you
You're
don't.
forced
You
to
don't
love
have to
them.
like them. You just
You
have
don't
to
have to
love
like
them.
them. You
Well,
just have
like
to love
that's a
them.
hard life. Wait a minute, Robert. That's a hard life. You gotta get into love.
Yeah, I know it's a hard life.
I was using romantic love as an example because it's primarily based on information. Obviously, your relationship with a brother or sister or a parent is a lot different. That's much more of a natural, like you mentioned, unconditional. Although I would posit there's probably some conditions, and they're probably pretty extreme.
Okay.
But
Nah, we'll see.
but romantic love tends to have less strings attached, right? You fall in love with this person because of things that you know about them or you think you know about them, right? You may be wrong. That might come out later, right? But it's something that when you find out new information that perhaps you don't like so much, the love can dissipate. And you went from let's use not love. Let's use cupcakes.
Oh boy.
Can I have a cupcake actually?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna have.
Unconditionally.
This is my.
Have as many
This is against my diet. I'm on a diet. It's called "Don't Eat So Darn Much Food," but it's a Farbrengen. So
Let's face it, we're all Jewish. We're all thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
We're all
I
thinking-
need a napkin.
Well,
I think
Now, were the cupcakes good?
They were good.
It was really good. It tasted like a strawberry shortcake.
Would you want another one?
I already had one.
Would you want another one?
Not right at this moment.
Not at this moment. Who wants another cupcake? Don't take one. Sarah wants another
If there
cupcake.
wasn't-
Hold on. No, don't give it. Don't give
him.
them.
Said not to take it.
What if I told you they're poisoned?
What type of poison? Like what I?
It will kill you.
I would eat it in a heartbeat.
I don't know.
Why are you
gonna
guys so
hate it.
difficult?
Okay.
Wait, okay, so let me.
Like my
I have a
children.
question. Wait, I have a question here. Hang on. I have.
don't
I'm
want
sorry.
it.
I mean,
Did the Hamadina have to go through this? Her children are nicer than mine.
wait.
I
I
know.
have a question.
Thinking logically about this.
Wait. If
Because if I want to, like,
If I were to tell you, right now they look good, it sounds great. Yes, I'd like to have one. If I tell you that they're actually poisoned and it will kill you, would you want it?
No, I.
Right. No, that just
Wait. Hang on.
full stop.
One second,
No, of course
Wait,
not.
hang
That
on,
would be
I have a question.
stupid.
Wait, I have a
Well, we
question.
don't know.
I'm not talking about someone who wants to commit suicide.
No. Wait, just give me a second to think about this. Hang on.
Why? What is there? to
Because
think
you
about?
already, because I already had
The
two.
fact that you have to think about this worries me a little bit.
already dead.
Projecting you all to this.
I already had two.
Listen, I'm not talking about. I'm just talking about the ones on the plate right now.
I know. What I'm saying is, you.
Stop.
I already ate two, so I'm already dead anyway.
This is the problem with Jews. We overanalyze everything. That's why we have a Talmud that will fill shelves.
That's why so many Jews are comedians.
The Torah is like this thick. Right? What's the commentary? It's never ending because of this.
Okay, the cupcakes
Robert,
will kill me.
Put a yarmulke on.
How did you not notice that I didn't have a yarmulke on?
I don't know.
All right, so if
Okay, so
I eat a cupcake, it will kill me.
my point is, I don't know why I'm still on this point. This is like an easy point that was done 10 minutes ago.
So don't eat a cupcake.
Your knowledge of the situation changes how you feel about something, right?
But I already
Okay,
ate
good.
two, so I'm already-
So the fact that I still have my train of thought is a miracle in and of itself. The Alter Rebbe, the founder of the Chabad movement, says like this: how do you generate a feeling for God? Well, you have to know something about God. And so most of Chabad Hasidus, I don't know about most. It's not like I read it all and made a little chart. But I would say a good chunk of Chabad Hasidus is all about knowing about God. That's what it's about.
How do we know about God, though?
Oh, that's a good question. This is when it comes in handy. How do you know about God?
We don't.
How do we know about God?
Only God knows about God.
Well, we had an amazing event in history where God actually revealed himself to us and told us some stuff about him.
Yeah, I was gonna say Moses.
Moses on Mount Sinai, that's right. Exactly.
What did he tell us, though? He didn't
Oh, what did he tell us?
He told us the Ten Commandments.
That's the question. No, he told us way more than 10 Commandments. The entire Torah was said on Mount Sinai, including all the other stuff, things that we learn out. Everything was given on Mount Sinai. Everything that a student will derive from the Torah was given on Mount Sinai. Now, what does that mean? How does that work out? Okay, that's for a different discussion. I'm looking for that now. But the point is, God told us a lot. And you have people that have a divine connection, what we would call Ruach HaKodesh. You might say in English, it's translated as the Holy Spirit, but that sounds a little bit awkward for a Jew to say. So we'll say Ruach HaKodesh. Divine inspiration, maybe we'll say. And certain people have higher levels of revelation. The Kabbalah, etc. These things are revealed to us. So we know a little bit about God. And by a little bit, it's because he's infinite. So we know a lot about God, but because he revealed it, but God's infinite. So we'll just say it's a little bit. And through understanding that and knowing that, here's something simple that you can do on a daily basis. It's hard to do it on a daily basis. I don't make it all the time, but it's a really good practice. If you were to think about, shout out to Rabbi Dick at Morristown Yeshiva, who's not listening right now because internet is anathema. But if you were to think about the creation of the world and how God created the lowest level of inanimate objects, rocks, dirt, whatever. And there's a tremendous amount of diversity within that. I just met the chief of diversity and what was his title? Darn. Inclusion. Chief of diversity. It's a professional, useless person. There's diamonds, there's rubies, there's gold, and then there's like, granite, just random rocks and stuff. Huge amount of diversity within that spectrum. And as much as you think about that, and as much as you contemplate tremendous amount of diversity just within inanimate objects, that is nothing compared to the concept of a living thing, a tree, a flower, a bush, a fruit, and the tremendous amount of diversity that exists within plant life. And you were to contemplate that for, I don't know, a minute or two. And then think about how that's absolutely nothing compared to a living animal who can move and think and feel. Tremendous diversity within that. Cats and dogs and fruit flies.
I was thinking about horses, but
Horses, there you go. And the entire animal kingdom. And how you think about that for a few minutes. And then that's nothing compared to the abilities of a human being.
you're laughing.
I don't know. It's something
A human being's reason and thought and so on.
Something.
What happened?
And the tremendous amount of diversity within human beings, from those who are extremely low on the intellectual spectrum, those who are extremely high, and everything between, colors, races, shapes, genders, whatever. Now there's, I don't even know on Facebook how many genders there are. It's tremendous diversity. And then to think about the spiritual worlds, angels and so on, souls, and the infinite levels of that, it gives you a tremendous appreciation of what God did. And that would generate, if you thought about that, like actually thought about that for a while, especially for a few days in a row, really give you a tremendous love and appreciation for, wow, this amazing thing that God did. And you get to be a part of that. Not just a part of it. You're the pinnacle of that. You're the whole reason it was all created. It was all for you to make the world a great place. That the stars and the moon and the solar systems and everything on Earth and all the amoeba and everything is just for you to light house candles or put on film. Blow your mind. You would fall in love with God. You would have no choice. So that's how. So the system that the Alter Rebbe, this intellectual system of understanding, and that understanding generating a feeling. Because as we said, what you know can generate how you feel. That's how you're commanded to love God or to fear God or so on. And there's different meditations or whatever, things that you can think about. It's l'chaim. I don't have any more water. Can I have some Dr. Thunder? That's a good. Is this kosher?
I mean, it's Rashi's. I'm assuming so.
Hi.
Hi.
What kind of burp here? Go. This is Rivka's cup. She gets the pink ones. So they'll have their different colors. They know which one's theirs. You have to know. I want to teach you a song. It's a good song.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It doesn't have too many words. It only has 6 words. The problem is they're in Hebrew. But it's okay. If I was smart and I had thought in advance, I would have made a printout with the words. I didn't do that.
It's okay.
So I'm going to teach you the song because it's a Farbrengen. And I've been talking too much. I'm sorry. The words mean you should be written and sealed for a good new year. A good and sweet new year. Sorry. Okay? You got this? That's what they mean in English. Kasiva v'chasima tova, l'shana tova. You know that one? Shana tova. Umasuk. And tuka means sweet. Matok. Okay. Azai, you ready for this? I'll say. Don't sing. just listen, and then you can hum a few bars and fake it. Okay, ready? Kasiva v'chasima toiva l'shana toiva umesuka. Kasiva, just repeats. V'chasima toiva l'shana toiva umesuka. Kasiva v'chasima toiva l'shana toiva umesuka. Kasiva v'chasima toiva l'shana toiva umesuka. David Holtzman, sing along. Kasiva v'chasima toiva l'shana toiva umesuka. 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 That was great, guys. You did fantastic. Chaim.
Rabbi, I'm gonna leave you because I think I'm gonna fall asleep.
You finished the cupcake?
I had 2 cupcakes.
How are you not awake now?
I have been like dying. Not really, but I just.
You got up at 10 o'clock. I don't feel bad for you.
I can still go to bed right now. If I didn't have to close Wendy's last night, it would have gone to bed at like 7:30 maybe.
That's terrible.
I know.
You're gonna miss the best part.
What is the best part?
My story.
The part that you're gonna miss.
I'm gonna tell my story. I have a
Making me
story.
Feel bad.
Everyone has a story. Do you have a story, Caitlin?
I guess it's probably not.
It's even on Facebook. Your story. It says.
I feel like we're on like the Good Morning America, like Kathy, like Lee Griffin. She has a segment called like the Story Master. She even has a song that goes with it.
Oh God.
Kathy Griffin, the
Don't
Trump
say
head
it.
lady.
Oh please don't.
But
Say
not Kathy Griffin. Kathy Lee
Gifford.
it. Kathy, yeah.
A totally different lady.
Totally different. She and Hoda do like the third
That's like
hour.
Regis and Kathy Lee. For
Yeah.
those of you from the 80s.
Yeah. She has like Your Story. She has a whole song that goes with it.
Don't say it. Please
I
don't say
won't.
it.
They made fun of it on SNL.
Oh my God. Don't say it.
I'm leaving you.
You're leaving me.
I'm so sorry.
Good night, Gabby.
All right, listen. I'm gonna tell you a story. I don't know why I'm gonna tell you this story. I just felt it's important story because everyone always asks for it. My wife always says I should say it,
No.
so now I'm gonna say it. You may have heard it actually. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'll see when you start telling
All right, and if you've heard it, you can go.
it.
Stories like this. So, and this is actually it culminates on High Elul, actually on tonight, the day after High Elul. It culminates tonight. This is the end of the story. Is tonight, not tonight now, but tonight.
Tomorrow?
No,
Midnight,
what years?
2018.
16 years ago. Tonight, 16 years ago. That's the end of the story. Really, the end of the story hasn't happened yet, but you know, stories like this. This is Malka Forshner just said hello. She just had a new grandchild. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Should be raised l'ter l'chil ma'asim tovim. Should have all the blessings and goodness. And for a good and happy sweet New Year, l'chaim, Mrs. Forshner and Mr. Forshner. Okay. The story is like this. When I was a wee lad, I was raised in a fairly. We went to a conservative synagogue. I would say, for all practice-wise, we're probably considered Reform, but we identified as conservative Jews. And I went to Hebrew school, did the regular thing you're supposed to do. Hated every minute of it, kicking and screaming, of course. I'm sure you can relate. Actually, you probably had parents that were like, Okay, you don't want to go. Never mind.
I went.
You went kicking and screaming, or you were just like, yeah, it's great.
I didn't love it, but
You didn't love
I-
it. Nobody loves Hebrew school.
Yeah, I
It's
was
awful.
Like, okay.
Well, you see, I did.
Their problem is they call it school. Why?
You see, my family was we were doing it, but then my brother got us kicked out.
Your brother got you kicked out of Hebrew school?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I didn't get kicked out of Hebrew school. For all the things I said and windows I broke, I'm shocked. But anyway, I went there. Okay, fine. I didn't. Whatever they taught me in Hebrew school, I can tell you went in one ear out the other. No idea. I didn't really remember much. I think the only thing I did remember was the Hebrew alphabet, and that's kind of a stretch. So I did like this. As I got older, I would say 16 years old, I decided for some strange, I had no idea why. It's just from above. I don't know. I decided I wanted to be more religious. I don't know. I didn't know how. I didn't know what. I wanted to get closer to God. Now, the way I decided to do this was a little bit unorthodox, shall we say. And I started looking into other religions. I looked into Wicca for about 5 minutes. What? You heard this story. Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, so now you can go with the non-guilty conscience.
Have a good night.
So I looked into Wicca, which was an interesting experience that I won't go into right now, but it was interesting nonetheless. So then I I decided, how could I really look into other religions when I never even read the Bible. I don't even know that much about my own religion. Fair enough. So I decided I'm going to have to read the Bible. Now, what good Jewish family has a Bible laying around their house? None, of course. So I had to borrow a Bible from my girlfriend at the time. One small problem. My girlfriend at the time was not exactly Jewish, shall we say. In fact, a fairly active Protestant. That's a type of Christian. Okay. Jews don't know these things.
Was she a wasp?
Was she? Oh, she was pretty waspy.
Okay.
No, actually, no, because she was Italian, really.
Because my mother was a wasp.
Although her father was more Russian, so yeah, she wasn't wasp, really.
Yeah, my
She was Eastern European.
Oh, okay, because my mom was raised as a wasp.
I mean, she was like whitey white. I mean, she was super white,
Okay,
but she
well,
wasn't a wasp
No, my mom,
officially.
my mom was.
She was not Anglo-Saxon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so anyway, where was I? So I borrow her Bible, RSV translation, for those who are curious, and I start reading Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Great read. Read like a couple pages a week. A couple pages a night. And by the way, I mean Revelations, not. In the meantime, I decided that I was going to check out this Christian thing because I knew sort of the Christian verses that were told about why Christianity is correct. Proofs from the Old Testament, as it were. As I came across them, I said, oh my goodness, here they are right here in black and white in the RSV Christian translation. And of course, how could Jews be so blind? Which, by the way, never did I ever get a Jewish answer to these questions. I just sort of took it at face value. So I did that. And I decided to start going to church. Or as we like to say, if you translate sound, what do? It's a CH, right? So I go to church, my girlfriend's church at the time, which was way more fun than going to synagogue, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. First of all, I don't have to wear a suit. People are showing up in like jeans and t-shirts. I'm like, this is my kind of place. They have a band. Gosh, a band. Music. It's great. Way better than like a bunch of old people in suits singing off key. Way better. So it was fun. So this is already a leg up, right? And I go to church. It's a great time. Wonderful people. Everyone's nice. Everyone's nice at synagogue too, but it's more like the pinch your cheeks nice. Like, oh, it's okay. And I eventually become more involved in the Christian faith from a personal belief standpoint. And I end up on these chat rooms through AOL. AOL used to be an internet service provider. I don't know if they still are. Does AOL still exist?
Oh, they just canceled. It does, but they just canceled.
We used to have this thing called dial-up internet. You've heard rumors of this thing, correct? Yes. Yes. Okay. So I went on these chat boards. There was one called Catholic Protestant Questions. And I just felt that the Catholics had a better grasp on reason and intellectual rigor. So I liked their answers better. So I started getting involved in Catholicism. And as soon as I went to college and was out of the house, I started going to what's called RCIA, Rites of Christian Initiation for Adults. It's like Hebrew school for grown-ups in church. Okay. And my rite happened to be part of the Catholic, the church, the Newman Center. That's like the Chabad house for Catholics. Okay. And I start going. My sponsor, because you have to have a sponsor, sponsoring me for the conversion. Great. I'm taking classes. Everything's going fantastic. Eventually, after a couple of years, I decided I should probably tell my parents. I'm sure they knew something was up. But I decided to tell my parents. I tell my parents, guys, I'm Christian. This did not go over well. There was a lot of crying. And the funny thing is, if I would have come home and said, Mom and Dad, I'm gay. I only said that, Angela, because you're on. Mom and Dad, I'm gay. Mom and Dad, I'm on drugs. Mom and Dad, I'm a vegan. I don't know, something terrible. I'm sure they would have known what to do. Right? Okay, just great. I got this covered. You know, we love you. Everything's fantastic. Tell them I'm a Christian. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Where did I go wrong? So they asked me to speak to their rabbi. Good move. I figured if it'll get my parents off my back, I'll speak to the rabbi. I speak to the rabbi, and the rabbi tells me that he doesn't know so much about this kind of issue, and he refers me to another rabbi with a higher pay grade, I guess. So on the one hand, I appreciated the honesty. He's not going to, tow me along, and he doesn't really know what he's talking about. On the other hand, I'm like, you're the rabbi. You can't defend Judaism? What the heck's wrong with you? But he refers me to the other rabbi. So I go to the other rabbi. This guy's with a beard. He looks like a... Not like my little peach fuzz over here. This is 16 years of prime growth. Thanks, Dad, for the Danish genes. So I talked to the other rabbi, this rabbi, that rabbi, it doesn't matter, whatever. Rabbi's a rabbi, right? So I speak to this rabbi, and he asks me a very poignant question. That question is, so, why do you believe in Christianity? That's a good question, right? I mean, that's fair. I was speechless. First of all, it was so up front. Like, who's that up front? And also, I hadn't really thought about it so much. I had just sort of been going through this process over the last few years, just of where my life took me, and I didn't really think about it. So I really didn't know. So I kind of regained my footing, and I started saying, this verse or that verse, it seems to be, which is funny because, by the way, this happens with Jews that become Christians. Suddenly they become biblical scholars. But the Bible says this, and this, so obviously, and so that's why they're Christian. But if you were to come to them a few years earlier when they were doing God knows what, God knows where, and they're having a barbecue on Saturday afternoon and say, it says in the Bible that you're not allowed to light a fire on the Sabbath. What do I care about the Bible? But suddenly, a couple of years later, and they're biblical scholars all of a sudden. It's a funny thing. So anyway, So I start. I forget. What did I? Oh, of course, the big one, Isaiah 53. That's always a big one for Christian missionaries. So he tells me like this. He says, if I were to tell you that in 20 minutes you are going to ask me, how could I have ever thought that was talking about Jesus? Would that be worthwhile to you? So I said, that'd be a pretty neat trick. So we talked. And I was pretty impressed with what he had to say, because I'd never really gotten there's actually Jewish responses to these things. I didn't know. I never really went and got them. I'm not going to bore you with the details of what he said to me, but it was just it was really amazing to me that, wow, this is something that's like a thing in Judaism, you know? And so it gave me some pause to think. And I said like this, all right, so I really was having some doubts now. And I went to the priest, I wasn't, and he told me, he's like, go to the priest, ask him these questions, don't, he's not telling me to avoid him. And the priest's answers weren't so, I don't know, they just didn't sit right with me. So I told God like this, I said, look, I'm really confused. The rabbi, he's got a big beard, he looks really important. He says one thing. My priest, no beard, but cool collar, says another thing. Actually, he didn't wear a collar because he was a religious priest. Now, diocesan priest doesn't. Are you Catholic or Protestant?
Catholic.
Catholic. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay. He was a Jesuit, by the way. So they're supposed to be the smart guys. So, the difference, by the way, between the Jesuits and the Dominicans. So the Dominicans were founded to fight the heresy of the Albigensians. The Jesuits were founded to fight the heresy of the Protestants. You don't see any Albigensians around, do you? It's okay. She's laughing. It's good. Anyway, so I started thinking. So finally I said, look, okay, the priest isn't cutting it for me. The rabbi's not cutting it for me. I need help from the big guy. So I tell God, I need a sign. And not only do I need a sign, sorry, I don't want to jump ahead. I need a sign. Okay. I need a sign. I'm at Mass. It's before Mass started. Services. I'm at Mass. And they have these cool kneelers that were cushioned. Did your church have kneelers? That's amazing. They have cushions. It's so comfy. I'm kneeling before Mass started, so I'm not interrupting the service. I'm like, God, I need some help here. The rabbi says this. The priest says this. I don't know. Judaism, Christianity. Who could tell? I don't know. Tell me what to do. Give me a sign, something. So Mass is about to start, so I, put the kneeler back. I sit up in the pew, and the woman behind me starts talking to her friend. It's just like synagogue. They just start talking in the middle. Talking to her friend about the beautiful Shabbat service that she went to the day before. Because it was Sunday, so the day before was Saturday. In church, talking about Shabbat services. It's like, pretty cool. That's fast work. He works really quick. But never underestimate the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination of a Jew. So so I turn around, I see who it is, and I see where I had already decided if I'm going to do this Judaism thing, I'm going to go whole hog, no pun intended. And I'm going to go all the way, Orthodox, whatever, the whole shebang. Do it hardcore. And I knew who it was. I knew who she was talking about automatically, about a friend. She was a Reform. She had a friend who was in a Reform synagogue or maybe a Reconstructionist, I don't remember. Anyway, so maybe it means that I'm supposed to stay in Christianity since the sign was her talking about the Reform person that I don't want to go to. So maybe it means that I'm supposed to stay in church. I don't know. So I said, okay, God, I got you this time. I'm going to give you the sign that I need. Because if I pick it, then I know it's legit, right? Now, I figured I had biblical precedence for this. It's happened before, by the way. There's a guy Gideon. Ever hear of the term Gideon's fleece? Never even the term, the cultural reference, anything.
Was it like idiot?
Read the Bible! Okay.
Oh, Jews.
It is the greatest work ever produced in human history. You have to read it. I don't care if you believe in it. Just read the darn thing. Okay. So he asked for a sign with his fleece, whatever. I'm not going to get into the story. So I figured I had biblical precedents. I found out later you're actually not supposed to do this. It's okay. So I told God, this is my sign. I want to meet someone with my Hebrew name by the end of spring quarter, whatever it was. We go by the quarter system at the college I was at. So, okay, fine. He says, so my Hebrew name is Yosef, for those who don't know. Yossi, is a nickname. Now, I found out Yossi is actually a very common name in Judaism. I never met anyone named Yossi, so for me it was significant. The spring quarter goes by, last day of finals, I come home, done with my finals. I did well, except on physics. It was a really bad situation with physics. And I'm online, again, AOL, this used to be a thing. So, and I'm chatting with whatever, and this person, I'm telling him, I don't know, Judaism, Christianity, and she said, oh, I just met this guy, and he's like a rabbinical student. You should talk to him and ask your questions. I'm like, sure, why not? So I meet this guy, I go online, and we start talking, and I said, what's your name? He says, Yossi. I was like, dang, that's cool. And this was actually about 2 weeks before Passover, Pesach in Hebrew, which is my middle name. I thought that was kind of cool too. So I call him up. He's in Texas and I'm in San Diego. My phone bills are really high that month. And I say, we got to talk. And we start talking for like 2.5 hours. This is, I would say, from meeting the rabbi till now is probably a good 8 weeks. Maybe because the quarter system is less than 10 weeks. It's probably 8 weeks. And he told me some pretty interesting stuff that I didn't know about Judaism. And after this whole experience and all the things I learned, I said, okay, I can't do this Christian thing anymore. I just can't do it. Too many coincidental things have happened, and too many things that I learned about Judaism and Jewish responses to these missionary questions. I couldn't justify it anymore. So, you know what? So I called my parents, who, a year prior, when my dad called and said, so did you go to Russia? Did you go to Yom Kippur services this year? And I was like, nope. Don't do that. Show up. Room 132, Campus Center, Yom Kippur. Okay. I said, nope. A year later, I called him. I said, okay, this whole Christian thing, I'm dropping it. Of course, then I became Orthodox. I'm not sure which one my parents preferred more, Orthodox or Christian. It's kind of a tough call. But I started going to synagogue. It happened to be that near my house, the closest synagogue to me was called Chabad. I didn't know what that meant. I never heard of Chabad. I'm not from New York like you fine people. Where are you from?
Rochester.
Okay, so it's New York. It's real New York, right? So, Chabad is like a household name anywhere in New York. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but it's a household name. In LA, it's like hit or miss. I never heard of it. So Chabad, I just thought it was synagogue, and I went there, and it was really great. The people were nice, and it was fantastic. I went to another one first, and I went to a conservative one first, and it was the closest to campus. But then he started talking about how basically all the stories in the Bible were fairy tales, and I'm like, no, that's not really the place for me. So then I went to the another place. Sorry, the place I went to. You'll see why I'm laughing. So the rabbi
Must have had one of those cupcakes.
You think they were brownies, right?
Yeah.
I don't think those were poisoned.
I'm sure, soon enough in New York. So the rabbi was having he was giving a class. decided to go. I didn't understand anything. I had no idea what he's talking about. I don't even know what the class was about. I have no clue. I don't remember a word that was said. One thing I remember is that the rabbi had a video camera set up, filming himself. And I thought, what a pretentious prick. And I'm sitting here videoing myself.
Full circle.
Circle of life.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway. Now I know why. But anyway, I decided it's not the place I want to go because it was too weird. And that wasn't the only thing. Just the people were really weird and whatever. No one, like, I went in there. Nobody talked to me. Nobody said hi. The only thing anyone ever said to me was to correct me something I was doing wrong. I was like, dude, like, whatever. And I went to the Chabad and everyone was really nice and people were cool and we chilled. And I called the rabbi and I was like, I want to come over for Shabbat. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. I spent the whole Shabbat at the rabbi's house and they were really cool. And they had little kids that were all cute and stuff. And which is weird. Now their youngest, oh my gosh. Now the youngest is probably 20 something. Scary. Anyway, it's all these gray hairs you see. So I went there and it was fantastic. And then eventually I told the rabbi, I don't really know anything about Judaism and maybe you could help me out. So he told me I should go to yeshiva. So I did. And now I'm a rabbi. And when I went, so the reason I say it ended tonight was because when I went to yeshiva, so first of all, I get to yeshiva. He was supposed to pick me up at the airport. Is he listening? Probably not. Thanks, Kayla, for joining. I appreciate it. So I went to the yeshiva. Yeshiva is a rabbinical school, rabbinical college. It's actually called the Rabbinical College of America in Morristown, New Jersey. I highly suggest it. And someone was supposed to pick me up. Well, he decided that he didn't decide, whatever. He was at a wedding that day. So he had somebody else pick me up who wasn't there. I've never been to the East Coast before. I was all alone and no idea where I was or where I was going. And there's nobody picked me up. So I was totally freaked out. Eventually he showed up. And now he's a monthly donor and I love this person very much. But anyway, I loved him before he was a monthly donor. And I go there to this yeshiva, which is this big building. It actually used to be a Catholic building. It was like a school for girls who kind of were going off the beaten path, as it were. And now it's a rabbinical school. And I go there, and I don't know anybody. But in 1 week, there's going to be a Farbrengen for High Elul, for the 18th of Elul, which happens to the 19th of Elul was the rabbi who's giving the Farbrengen is his birthday. So I go to this Farbrengen, and it completely changed my life. Probably unlike this Farbrengen, but completely changed my life. First of all, I don't even know. I can't remember most of the things that he said. The things that really just were unbelievable and really got me thinking about life and about who I was and where I wanted to be and who I wanted to be. And then at about 4 a.m, it's probably earlier, 2 or 3 a.m, it's a custom on your birthday to go to the Ohel, to the resting place site of the Rebbe, to ask for blessings, whatever. You're Catholic, I'm sure you understand. Okay. A hot deal. And he decides it's my birthday. We're going to go to the Ohel. We're in Morristown, New Jersey. The Ohel is in Queens, New York. He says, who's got a car? Well, the only person with a car was sleeping. So we go at 3 a.m. and we wake his butt up. And we're like, we're going to the Ohel right now and you're going to take us. Rabbi Dick says so. That's his actual name, yes. Rabbi Dick says, we're going to the Ohel. So we wake him up. This guy, the guy who drove us, he's such a tzaddik. I love this guy. Yoram Henkin, if you're out there, you're somewhere. You should find your shidduch soon. L'chaim. I don't have. Oh, I do have l'chaim. We drive to the Ohel and we pray at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, as the sun's coming up at the Ohel. Which, if you join Sinai Scholars, or even if you don't, you'll go to the Shabbaton. We'll go to the Ohel.
That was fun.
And it was just such an amazing experience. At 5 in the morning, at a graveyard, which is kind of weird. True. But it was just life-changing. And we're driving back, and I'm just thinking, like, this is it. This is who I am. And so I went there to stay for like a year, just to go for 1 year. And then 5 years later, I was still there. And I came here. So, Chaim L'chaim. That's the long version of my story. I apologize for making it take so long.
What part of Queens?
What part of Queens? It's in Cambridge Heights.
Oh, okay.
New Montefiore Cemetery is where the Rebbe is buried. Not Montefiore Cemetery. No, actually, no, it's Montefiore, not New Montefiore. I apologize. It is Montefiore Cemetery,
Yeah.
not New Montefiore Cemetery, which I think is actually out on Long Island somewhere. But anyway,
That was
See,
interesting.
you see, I'm close enough.
that's
where I
right.
can
You're
get
in the
that
Bronx,
out.
right? Yeah.
I think getting into Queens is not too hard.
No,
Not at all. It'd take maybe.
it's like Hotel California.
45 minutes to an hour, depending on what train I take.
You can check in.
But she may never leave.
Rabbi, I think we're gonna.
Kayla, L'chaim.
I waited till
I-
you finished your story.
Kayla, this is the most amazing person Jewish person on this campus right now. You have to know this. She's amazing. You don't know. She's amazing. This is a person who probably didn't want to talk to me or ever see me ever in her life when she stepped foot on this campus. I could have died if I cared. In fact, a little smirk may have come on her face if it happened.
You would have thrown a party.
But I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you a little story. This is a short story. You can stay for this? Okay. I don't know if this is how you view it, but this is how I view it.
Okay.
This is my perspective. This is how I identify. Okay. I saw on Facebook that she wasn't feeling well. So I have a standing rule that if I find out that you don't feel well, I'm going to come and deliver you matzo ball soup,
It's true.
assuming that I have some. And even if I don't have some, I'm going to try and make some. Even if I have to put some powder in some hot water and bring it, which may have been what I did. I don't remember.
No, it
It was real. It was the real deal.
Yeah.
So I found out she posted something on
No, I
Facebook.
didn't post anything.
Something.
No, I told my dad. My dad probably messaged you.
No, I definitely saw on some.
I didn't post
I-
anything.
Maybe your dad posted it and tagged you, so it popped up on your board.
I didn't post anything.
Listen, it is true that your dad told me,
I know that.
but I did see on, you posted on Facebook.
Are you sure Gabby?
Because I certainly wasn't going to do it if it was
I
my
really
only
don't
source was your dad,
remember.
because I wasn't going to give that away.
I
But
really think it was my dad.
no,
He may have tagged you, and it was on your Facebook
I-
board.
Are you sure Gabby? didn't
listen,
tell
it was like 3 years ago. You don't know.
We're debating who
I
tagged
saw
you.
it on Facebook, and that's how I contacted you and said, "I'll bring you matzo ball soup." Right? I think
Oh,
we're on
I think we
a
were
bus or
having
something.
A conversation.
You were on a
and I
bus or
was-
something.
No,
Maybe.
We had a conversation, and I said I wasn't feeling well.
Oh, see, you said
But
you
I
were.
didn't-
Okay, so you didn't post it, but you told me personally on Facebook. Okay, fine. The person who she wishes was dead, she told that she wasn't feeling well on Facebook. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, like this much.
Seems like
So-
it was a good wake, though.
What?
Seems like it was a good wake, though, with the matzo ball soup.
so I went and I delivered matzo ball soup. Suddenly she started talking to me. And somehow ended up on the board. I don't know. Eventually, she started. Oh, because you were next door neighbors with Gabby.
Yes, and I had.
That's right. Because I was like, Gabby, she lives in your hall. You should invite her. And it turns out that you were neighbors.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. That was God smiling on me. And so she's an amazing person because she went from wishing I was dead to being here at 11 o'clock at night for a high Elul Farbrengen. She has no idea why she's here.
No.
But
I think I
That's
told
what she
you that.
texted me. She's like, I don't really know what it's for.
But-
I was like, okay, welcome.
because a Yid is a Kabbalah's Elik. A Jew accepts the yoke of heaven. And she knows that this is where a Jew should be on Chag. And so that's where she is. It's the birthday
Okay.
of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe.
Is that that's the story?
I'm just in awe of you.
She wants to know if she could leave.
I
now.
think I just think that you are a wonderful human being
Thank you.
and a wonderful Jew. And I just think you're great.
I'm only a decent.
I don't care what these guys say about you. I think you're a good person.
I said I'm only a I wasn't hitting her. I was hitting myself. I said I'm only
So anyway.
a decent one.
So Kayla's amazing. I won't put her on camera. She'll be embarrassed. But
I think we're gonna.
all right.
I don't
Kayla,
think
good
I'm
night.
on camera. This is
L'chaim.
right?
Thanks.
Good night. Good night.
All right. Caitlin, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good to meet
I used to be
you.
amazing with when I first got here. I remembered everyone's names because I only knew like 3 Jews and like maybe 2 non-Jews, and that was it. That's all I knew. And then now I know more people. I don't have room for the names,
Now
so
you have 2 Sarahs to remember.
I have 2 Sarahs. There's not Jewish Sarah and Jewish Sarah. It works that fine. What?
Non-Jewish Sarah.
I don't know. It's a friend of hers. I don't know.
She's my bestie.
The kids love her. She's great.
She's the one.
Kids love everyone.
No,
Just
no, they don't.
No, they
They
don't.
don't.
They tell
No,
me
they
who they
don't.
don't like.
Oh, Rivka hates me.
Don't worry, none of you are on that
Oh,
list.
wait, Rivka's. Wait, Sarah's not on Rivka's.
I'm on
Rivka's
Rivka's
no
list.
like list.
Most of the people that my kids don't like have graduated over the years.
I have to be on Rivka's list.
I don't think there's anyone still at
I
the
don't
school that
My
they.
cousin on that list was.
I won't say they don't
me,
like.
and
They
I
just
got
don't like as
Sarah
much.
to Hanukkah, and I went to-
Was my cousin
Start
on
the
that?
Chabad house here.
11 years ago next month.
Oh,
That's
gee.
amazing. How old was Chaim?
Oh no, it's not September yet. October 16th, 2007.
That's 2 days before my sister's.
When was
birthday.
Chaim born?
He was born on October 3rd, 2006.
You sure?
So he was like.
Pretty sure. I hate when the doctors ask me to give the birth dates. I'm like, I don't know. I have 7 kids. Lucky I know my birthday.
It's one of these days.
One of the
One of the days in the
Menachem was born 3 days after we got here, a month early. Yeah, we moved, and it was a little too much for my wife.
Me and him
And she
we
was
bonded
like-
over that. I was born early too.
And then I almost set the house on. That's a different story.
Oh my gosh.
While my wife was in the hospital.
Wait, is that a quick story? Wait,
It's a quick story. Yeah, I left
if this
gefilte.
is quick,
I
wanna
left
hear this.
gefilte fish. But we used to boil our gefilte. Don't boil your gefilte fish. Cook it in the oven. We used to boil it in a pot of water. My wife was in the hospital with Menachem. She had to stay an extra few days because he was jaundiced. I go to visit them in the hospital on a Friday, and I left the gefilte fish in the pot of water. And my wife specifically said, please remember to turn off the flame
Burner.
when you leave. Got this. Hold my beer. Did I turn off flame?
Of course not.
We get home from the hospital. This is to bring Menachem home and my wife, who've been in the hospital for 10 days, to the house. Our street is blocked off, and there's firemen at our house. Everything we own, we had packed up everything we owned from Morristown, New Jersey, brought it in a U-Haul truck, and put it into our house. And now there's firemen there. And we're like, "Ah!" Right? My wife's going to pass out. I'm like, I got this, honey. we go to the house. So I park on the side of the street. The street's blocked off. So I park at the end of the block, and I walk up, and I'm like, what are you guys doing in my house? The house was still standing. So then I was really confused. If there's firemen, I expect a fire. So he's like, well, the neighbors called and said there was a fire and smoke coming out. I'm like, what? Yeah, and we thought it might be arson because there was this log on the stove. that someone apparently was trying to ignite. It was just a burnt roll of gefilte fish because the water boiled away.
Oh my
Luckily,
God.
the house didn't burn down. We didn't lose everything that we owned. We had wonderful neighbors that called and said there's smoke coming out of the house and the fire alarms are going off. Please come now. Thank God. Anyway, that was our first week in Oswego.
My roommate's yelling at me to come home.
And people telling me that I was thought that I was Amish, and it was fun. I'm wearing a hat and a jacket with a little beard. You know, there's a lot of Amish people walking around here. It happens. You ever see them walking to Walmart and stuff like this? No? What year are you?
I just got here.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
You just got here.
I don't know.
You go to Walmart,
No, I think I still
you'll
got
see
it.
some Amish people. It's cool.
Okay.
It's cool. I wish they would come in their horse and buggies, though. I would love to see that in the parking lot, but they don't.
Once a while.
I've never seen horse and buggies here. I think they take the bus usually.
We have
I'm
some,
always
like,
in
up
Amish.
in Portland.
Down in Cortland, there's quite a few. Yeah, this is all Amish country. It's great. So I was mistaken for an Amish person. And the best line that was ever said to me in Oswego after I told them, no, I'm Jewish. Oh, Jewish? Is it true what they say about the Jewish people? That they take a fish and a board and they put the fish on the board and they cook the board and they throw away and they cook the fish on the board and they eat the board and throw away the fish? To this day, I have no idea what that means. But this is what was said to me
He was practicing.
on Halloween.
He was practicing his stand-up routine.
No, he was dead. His wife, who was with him, they were a senior citizen couple, probably in their probably early 70s. She's like, "Oh, honey, that's not true." I'm like, you know what he's talking about? I'm like, I have no. I looked at him straight in the eye. I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. Who has that stereotype? What is that? That was my experience in Oswego. Welcome to Oswego.
Very weird for me. I come from a city where 33% of the population is Jewish.
Yeah, right. You're in the Bronx, man. Bronx is like Jew haven. Well, it used to be. Now it's not as Jewish anymore,
Well,
but
Manhattan is really where all the Jews come.
Manhattan's super Jewish.
I live.
You know, there's
in
an
an
app.
Italian neighborhood. So
There's an
more-
app of where you can find a prayer service in the middle of the afternoon in Manhattan. Tells you the address of every place and what time. It's fantastic.
You have a lot of synagogues. Yeah, I see a lot of synagogues.
People make them in their office. They'll
There's
just
so few in our area.
they'll just make a service in their office. It's great.
Walk
It's
10
awesome.
feet, there's a synagogue.
I walk
Right.
10 feet and I'm like not even close to a synagogue.
It's because you're in
I've been to your
Niskuna
hometown.
or
We're
something.
like 10 minutes away from the closest synagogue.
Kayla. Does your name start with a C or a K?
Okay.
That'd be cool if it was a C, because then we.
I know. I didn't realize hers was a C until we moved in.
I know, right? It's so weird.
Yeah.
What is that?
I will.
I think it was because of your grandmother or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
I mean, that's
Kayla,
Thank
have a
you.
great
Good
evening.
having You too.
Chaim l'chaim.
Well, I was named after.
You said l'chaim on lemonade? Or Dr. Thunder? You didn't say l'chaim at all tonight? Terrible.
Wait, I got it. L'chaim.
Oh, l'chaim.
I was
Oh.
actually named after my great grandma.
Your great grandmother. Named after my grandfather and my great
Oh,
grandfather.
that
we
was the
still
same
alive?
with me. I was named after my great grandmother and my great great grandmother. Sarah was.
Chaim.
Uh,
I was talking to you and the people on Facebook or YouTube or whoever's listening.
so
No,
my,
oh,
my great grandma died in the camp, so I was named after her. And my great great grandma, her name was Allegra.
l'chaim, Kimberly Steele.
Robert, are you eating dinner?
Kimberly Steele is another amazing Jewish person. Is it okay if I talk about you for a minute? I won't say anything embarrassing, really. She's not responding. I don't see any response.
Oh, you can actually be seen. I thought you were just like. a
No,
picture.
they can see him, and then he can.
I
see,
can't
like-
see them, but
No,
I
no,
just saw
he
that she
can-
joined. I
Oh,
don't know
I
if
just
she's
thought
still
it was
on.
like a radio
But he
thing.
can see like the comments they're putting or like the reactions they're giving. Like,
Yeah,
if
but
they
I don't know if she's still. I don't know if
laugh
she's
and
still
say-
on. I don't know if she's still on.
That's what you can kind of.
This lady is an amazing person. Her mother's Jewish, and she's just been so helpful and loving to me and my wife since we got here, like literally almost since day one. And she's helped us out so much. And you know, she's an attorney, and we needed some help from an attorney at one point. We were getting evicted, especially from our previous residence. And I tried to pay her. Not that I had any money, but I tried to pay her. And she refused to take money from me because I'm the rabbi. I think I paid her $1. I'm like, please just take something. Because as I've learned in life, profit motive is very powerful. and she's just such a wonderful person. Such a beautiful soul.
Robert, do I get any credit from you or?
So Kimberly Steele, L'chaim.
I think I've helped you out.
I hope you. I'm Kimberly. If you don't have any L'chaim with you, get some. Say L'chaim with me. L'chaim L'vracha. That means to life and to blessing. And your mother's soul should have an aliyah, should have an elevation to the highest levels of Gan Eden, of heaven. And I'm sure she's looking down on you. And she's proud of you. Especially because you're on the Farbrengen. Chaim Shalom. So, anyway. What is what?
So I want to do l'chaim.
L'chaim. L'chaim, Robert.
L'chaim to my parents.
L'chaim to your parents. Your parents are amazing people.
They're not watching this.
They're not.
Well,
not that I don't think
They're
so.
probably asleep right now. Mom, Dad, I know you're probably both asleep right now. Dad, I'm sure you've been sleeping like all day.
I don't know if they can hear you. They probably can. You're. Yeah.
I love you guys. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Chaim L'vracha.
My parents are probably still awake.
Parents are awake.
Yeah.
You should have tagged them. So
My dad's never on it.
it doesn't tell me when people leave. They should tell me when people leave. Anyway, I wonder. I don't even know. I had this going on. Oh, I couldn't do it on Facebook on YouTube. I apologize for those of you who want to listen on YouTube, but apparently you need 24 hours to go live when you first do it. So eventually I'll be able to do that.
My mom
On the
was
drop of
just
it.
posted about me on Facebook though.
Just now.
Yeah, or a few hours ago, but she's probably still awake. She was posting.
Oh, I bet we could bring Sarah's mom on via FaceTime right now.
Isaac.
I'm sure she's probably
L'chaim.
still awake.
L'chaim to Isaac Seidenberg. This is a special Jew right here. Isaac, can I say how special you are? You can type. It's okay. Okay. Silence equals consent. That doesn't work on college campuses.
I was like wondering. I
I was waiting when you were going to go there.
I was waiting. I was like, is there a sticker for that now?
Isaac is
Did I
a
miss
special person.
something?
Isaac is probably our longest running president.
Really?
Yes. I think Isaac was president for like 3 years in a row. And
Wait, how do you do the l'chaim thing? How do I do the l'chaim thing? I want to do that thing to Isaac.
L'chaim to Isaac.
L'chaim
Hold
to
on.
Isaac.
I don't have any l'chaim. One second.
Here,
A
let's
little
do it.
l'chaim in my cup.
Here, we'll do it together.
We don't clean glasses. It's not a
Alright.
Jewish thing.
Well, it's a Pulaski.
I don't know why, but l'chaim.
L'chaim.
We'll air
It's
whatever. L'chaim.
a
And my pink
Thing
cup.
that my family does.
So Isaac Seidenberg, the artist formerly known as Shapiro, the special dude. He his father was religious, but whatever, it's a whole story. Anyway, he was told to avoid us like the plague, basically, because Chabad. We don't talk to those people. And he told me that the thing that really touched him the most was when I came, I used to deliver midnight bread. When they used to have a directory of where everyone lived. I figured they got rid of it because that seems like it could cause some problems. But they used to tell you what your dorm room was. So I would go around delivering breakfast during finals week at midnight, or around between 10 and 12. Called midnight breakfast.
It's now called the midnight snack.
So we would go and deliver eggs and pancakes at like 11 o'clock at night
Oh my God,
to your
please
dorm
do
room.
that to me, for me,
Like during
please.
finals week.
But I came by, brought him some food, and he's like, and I just asked, how's school going? Everything's going all right. Everything's cool. just that I was concerned about him on a physical level. That really touched him. And it's important. It's important because as a rabbi, you always feel like you should be trying to inspire them Jewishly, inspire students, inspire anybody, right? You want to inspire them Jewishly. You want to tell them a nice, Devar Torah, something on the Parsha, something about the holiday, something that's really going to motivate them and get them excited about Judaism. But the truth is that, and the most important thing, and this is actually a lesson from the Baal Shem Tov himself, right? His birthday was today, is that a Jewish person might be on this planet for however long, 70, 80 years, just to do a favor for another person. A physical favor. Lend them money, help them lay across the street, whatever it is. All the more so a spiritual favor. Okay, that's true also. But what does he say first? Just help out with something physical. How are you doing? How's your day? Do you need any help? Is there anything I can do for you? Have some pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes.
Whatever it is, This is how I met Isaac Shapiro Seidenberg. And we had a good relationship for a long time. Many years that he was here. Well, I think we were here 4 years, whatever. And then he flew the coop, went to run his own life. And he's got a catering business now. Baruch Hashem. He's a special Jew. So that's okay.
Gotta get going.
It's been an hour and a half.
All right.
For those of you who've just joined, I apologize. All right, peace out, guys.
Peace out.
Nice to see you.
Give me a hug. Oh, I love you so much.
You, man.
All right, guys.
I'm gonna try to get an hour and a half of prep for a course that is in 2 days.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, but I like to get things.
I'm so glad I'm out of school.
Robert,
Every time I see you guys, I'm like, thank
you
God.
see, Robert doesn't understand that I don't sleep. So
No, I do understand you don't sleep. I don't understand why you don't.
Get some sleep.
I sleep
I
like 2
understand
hours a night. so
It's
I-
11 o'clock. It's
I
still
don't
today.
understand why you don't.
I sleep
It's
2
not tomorrow yet, so you can get some sleep. L'chaim, l'chaim. Chaim Robert. Chaim Sarah.
Oh my God.
The last of them is left. I think after an hour and a half, we're good. It's getting late. Is it good for bringing? You can always check it out. You can catch the. You can keep it. It's good. It's for you.
I have so many.
You have so many. Well, wear them.
I do wear them. Well,
All right. So l'chaim, it's a special day. It's Yud. It's Chai Elul. Yud Ches Elul. The life of Elul. And I'm not going to say anything else because we already had a whole Farbrengen, an hour and a half worth. You can go check it out. You play it on double speed. It'll take you 45 minutes while you're, in the car or something. Chaim is Forshner. Chaim. And I wish you all you should have only blessing and you should be healthy and happy and have only happiness and blessing for the entire year, especially during this time when we're preparing for the new year, that you should really connect with Hashem in a deep and meaningful and powerful way that will reverberate through the entire cosmos and affect those who are not near us yet. Chaim.